You need like a good like the Joy-Cons are like tuxedo suit, like just like business class. You're like, come on.
Business casual Nintendo Switch.
That's right. Yeah.
The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 12-year-old and 9-year-old that are in bed because yesterday they were not in bed, and we had to delay this episode because my kids were a little rough. They had a little rough time.
We haven't had a kid interrupt the episode in a good number of years.
I know. It's going to come, though.
Will it be teenagers? Do you think it's going to be a teenager coming in to ask to borrow the car?
Oh, yeah.
Get all cranky?
Absolutely. Or they'd be like, Dad, stop talking about me.
Dad, I don't like your show. Stop it.
Sorry, son. Just listen in the car like everybody else.
You know, listeners, pay attention to the episode titles because at one point it will be ... So my kid heard the show.
It'll be just reviews of past episodes, and we'll have our kids on, and they'll be like, listen, that never happened like that. Come on.
A kid looks at his father's podcast.
That's right, yeah.
But at that point, we can have a cheers of a beers with him, and accordingly, that swings us right into the summer of beers that continues. Thank you, everybody who reaches out and send it to us. Please do. If you have recommendations, we are trying our best to hit them. Unfortunately, with us being up in Ontario, Canada, and Ontario, Canada being drowning in Ontario craft beer, not a lot of room for the stuff in the States, but we're trying our best. Honestly are. So do send your recommendations, newdadgaming.com, @newdadgaming. But this week we do have a couple selections from the United States. Fair warning, next week we're going to go with some Ontario craft because this is getting harder by the week.
Yes.
But doing our darndest to get out there. And this week I found one called King Crispy.
Ooh.
King Crispy. This is from Deschutes. This comes out of Portland. A very nice, clean, tasty Pilsner.
Oh, nice.
Not swinging for the fences by any means, but it's very competent, very easy tasting. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Won a couple of awards as well, so probably worth checking out. But this fine Pilsner beer took 2 of our brewers to Germany to meet with the style's founders, where the 2 toured the massive production facility of Pilot Plant. There was lots of beer tasting, collaborative recipe discussions. We're out of our minds excited by this accomplishment and brewed this beer to commemorate the event. Wow. So, King Crispy from Deschutes, check it out. Very tasty little beer from Portland. Jeff, what were you looking for?
Well, we're going over into Atlanta with Sweetwater Brewing Company's Extra Pale Ale 420 edition, 420 Extra Pale Ale, I think it is. I think I've had this one before, so I apologize to the listeners.
You absolutely... Jeff asked me, hey, have I had this one before? And I saw the photo. It's like, you have absolutely had this beer before.
My memory is failing, twice. Trevor. You need to be on me. Like, this needs to be, like, written out. Yeah, so I probably had this one before. And there's a reason for that, because it is tasty, and it's very, just, like, run-of-your-mill pale ale. Like, I don't think there's anything crazy about it, which is a good thing, I think, if you're looking for that. Just something that, you know, hits those taste buds. You just need the beer. This is one that is great ice cold. But yeah, out of Atlanta, and they say drink 'em if you got 'em. You can count on this go-to OG pale ale being fresh, flavorful, and well-balanced every time. If you know, you know. See, I knew, and I just picked it up. Well, I didn't know.
Not a bad selection at all. All right, everybody. If you got your suggestions, toss it over to us, newdadgaming.com, @newdadgaming. 420, interesting choice of numbers because you remove one of those numbers and you happen to have your big old age reveal. We got a birthday boy on our hands, everybody.
Age reveal, my God.
Big 40. Jeff is turning 40 years old. That is so old.
It's so old. I really think we just need to change the show to A Gamer Looks at 40.
A Gamer Looks at 40. What an amazing title for a podcast.
I don't think anybody else uses that. Nobody else uses that title, right?
Not at all. Quick caveat. Great friend of the show. Absolutely uses A Gamer Looks at 40. Everybody should check out that podcast. It's a retrospective from a really wonderful man and a friend of the show, looks back on his gaming life as he has turned 40.
Yes.
So Jeff, don't steal this idea, because that podcast is fantastic. Yeah. But what are you going to do now that you're...
Now I'm turning 40?
You're going to create your own podcast?
Yeah. This is it. Yeah, I don't know. What, like, are games good anymore? Am I going to fall out of this, passion and hobby of mine? I don't know. I'll see you on the other side, Trevor.
Is it hitting? Younger. Like, is this one hitting you differently? Like, is it making you reflect on life? Like, oh my goodness, I am not young anymore? Or is this just another day, just another birthday?
See, if you asked me a couple months ago, I'd be like, whatever. Like, it's just another year, whatever. But as you say it, and you have to, like, you fill out those quizzes and, like, surveys, and you're clicking that extra radio button that says you're 40 or over, it just stings a little bit, just a little. And, like, I don't know, then now everything, like, that hurts, you're like, oh God, am I dying? Like, this is it. Like, so I don't know. Before it was a number, but I do feel it a little bit. But my kids keep me young and the games keep me young, so I'm just gonna keep having fun, right?
Yeah. Well, cheers to you, brother. I think you look the younger of the two of us. So I'm 30. I'm turning 39. So I'm right at that cusp. So I get to, as I so often do, live vicariously through you and see your decline this year.
That's
and
right.
I'll know what to expect.
Yes. Yeah.
But from myself and obviously all the listeners, big cheers to Jeff on turning the big 40. Thanks. Now that means very soon, relatively soon, you'll be a grandfather, which makes your wife a grandmother. And you'll have to receive your grandkids. And that's very much the situation you found yourself in with grandmas that had to receive your kids, and what sounded like a whole bevy of electronic courtship along with them. What happened?
Yeah, so usually the kids, we haven't been to grandma's that often, but this time it was like they needed to sleep over for a day, give us a break. We needed to run some errands. So the kids were going to grandma's. When they were younger, I used to think like, oh man, we have to lug over like all this stuff just to keep them, settled and quiet and comfortable. Maybe that, as they get older, they won't need much. I was so unbelievably wrong, Trevor.
It was so off.
No, yeah, it's just like, instead of like, don't mind the clothes. The clothes are nothing, right? Like they take, pajamas, that's it. Like, I don't need anything else, Dad. I need my laptop, I need my mouse, I need my headphones, I need my power pack, I need my cell phone, I need my cell phone charger, I need my cell phone wires.
Need my mouse pad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I need that little he has a little desk that it folds over his leg like a lap desk. He wanted that. Wow. And he wanted to bring that all to grandma's and then get her Wi-Fi password as soon as he walked through the door.
Poor grandma.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was a lot. They're bringing their big, not desktop PCs, but they definitely have their own setups that they want to bring over and set up at grandma's. And just continue their online gaming with their friends. And we warned grandma, like, if they're too loud, you just go into the room and tell them to quiet down and stuff. But immediately went in, got set up, Wi-Fi, everything, just comfortable. She had no complaints. They're like, they're quiet, they're doing their own thing, whatever, this works. I'm like, okay, all right. Tell them to go cut the lawn or something. I don't know, but if they're quiet and you're fine with that, by all means.
I was wondering the grandma's perspective. I think, especially at this age at least, my parents, their grandparents would be a little saddened by it, because like, hooray, grandkids, let's spend some time together.
Yeah.
And then they like immediately slam the door and like log on to your Fortnites and your Minecrafts.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they immediately like slid downstairs into the basement, shut that door, and like hooked it all up. So they apparently did spend a couple, not minutes, I was going to say hours, but it was a good hour with the grandparents. Maybe it was over supper, I'm not sure. But they seem fine with it. It's just a different way of working, and they're in, I think, these just heavy gaming phases and giving my time, right? Like, this is my stuff. So it was different, man. It was weird.
Like, just have a picture too, like just lugging like an entire like cart full, like a wagon just filled with like to the brim of various electronics just to get through the night.
Yeah,
Go on.
No, this is where those warranties come into play, because like one drop or one little kick of a stone or falling down grandma's stairs or something, and like that laptop is gone, all your electronics gone. So It was okay in the end, but geez, like you can see where that peace of mind comes into play.
Yeah, it's a shame that the DS doesn't continue, because that seems like such the perfect little handheld to do. Now, what we're currently doing is when we go on the road, the Switch is the companion.
Okay.
So when we go to Grandma's, for us, they're fairly far. So it is a 4 to 6 hour drive.
Ooh,
But the kids love it. They are so excited for it because I've found this way to strap the Switch between the seats.
Perfect.
And we have a plug in the back. So like we try not to have it the entire drive, but they know for a good portion of the drive, they get to have the Switch. And then at Grandma's, like the Switch is the console. So like every night after supper, usually we'll kind of get into a bit of a gaming time. So we're traveling pretty light comparatively.
Yeah, but you mentioned 4 to 6 hours. This is 5 minutes down the road. I didn't say that. This is literally like they could walk to Grandma's and that would be it, but they didn't want to walk because they had too much stuff to haul there. So it was a different problem. So, yeah, they weren't far from home base. It was just like they needed all their things because they're used to having them all at once. So,
oh my God. Now, when they packed it up, did they pack things, 20 feet high on their back? Did they have to go across a barren, dangerous, scary landscape? Because it sounds a lot like a game that you were dipping into this week and making some very pointed comparisons to dad life and dad packing.
yeah, it's basically just living life in a virtual world with Death Stranding and packing all those packages on trying to lug it in one trip, Trevor. That's what you're trying to do. You do it with groceries, you do it with packing for the kids for, the day trips and stuff. And yeah, I fell into Death Stranding. That was just one of these games that I looked at. I'm like, I got, it's my birthday coming up. I'm older. I'm a little bit wiser. I got a little bit more time on my hands now. I'm on vacation. I started vacation for a couple weeks. Let's dive into this game and walk around a bit. So, yeah, I'm Death Stranding, delivering packages to the world. Just loving it.
Just like it's so wild and bizarre. And even I can recall when it came out and everyone was just trying so hard to understand it. So it's like, all right, there's the guy from The Walking Dead.
Yes.
And he's got a baby in a sack. And then he's carrying stuff between What is this? I don't know that any of that's really answered very well. Given that it's a Kojima game, it's just sort of like, it's weird, man. Just go for it. Carry a package. Carry a box.
Yeah, it is definitely weird. It is actually more explained than any other Kojima game ever. So, like, there is a thread that you can follow versus just, like, what is going on? I just need to complete the game. But, yeah, very much like you're lugging a baby across this open field, try not to fall and kill yourself, and just as many packages as you can get. So with the baby thing and just being a dad and gaming dad, like you literally have to soothe the baby. If it kind of reminds me of Super Mario, like was it Yoshi's Island where baby Mario would escape in the bubble and you have to go get him. Yeah. It's like that where there's these like ghosts or whatever black goo that comes and the baby is like your canary in the mine. So the baby like warns you of these ghosts and will cry and you have to like go in a different direction, but then you have to soothe the baby literally with the controller side to side as a motion. I'm like, you know what? I got this down.
There's no way you're lying. There's no way.
No.
There's no way. There's no way, Jeff. You're telling me that I have to rock a controller.
Yes, you do.
Like I did my child when they were a baby.
This is Kojima. He wants to get in your life and in your reality and say, listen, this is a real baby. You must care about it. It's not virtual. It is real. And you can hear it out of the little speaker in the controller and you have to soothe them.
So your wife walks in the room. And you, a now 40-year-old man,
yes,
are sitting there like shh, gently rocking your controller up and down to soothe it. Yes. That is so bizarre.
Yeah, honey, I have another family. They're in this world. I'm sorry. Like, I've had another kid without you. Yeah, I need to just hush them.
Your real baby's crying. You're like, no. Kojima baby's crying. I need to take care of Kojima baby right now.
Hold on. Wow. Yeah, no, it's pretty wild, man. I don't know why I chose this game, but somehow it's just weirdly relaxing to me. Like, I'm just in it, and I'm just reviewing it like a gaming dad and packing and just a whole bunch of stuff in the game where you're trying to like pack everything all up once. I think we put it on our Twitter, just trying to carry all the stuff like we do for our kids, packing up for the road trip ahead or something. Yeah. It's just great.
Your tweets are just absolutely on point. So he sends this one where he's got everything everything just piled up like 20 feet on top of him, packing up all the kids' stuff for a day trip.
Yep.
And the guy looks miserable, which is perfect. Second tweet was, this game is totally unrealistic. No room in the house is ever this clean. He is in just this white space.
White room, yep.
Any dad's nightmare. It's like, oh, my Lord, if my kid just got a hold of this room.
This did not happen.
But overall, this game's doing it for you. Like, you're enjoying your time in this world.
Yeah, I think now that I've kind of settled into it, I think it was just something that I fell into, and it was just it's a good experience. So I recommend it. Anybody give it a shot. It takes a couple hours to kind of get going, as all Kojima games, right? Like, you need to set the story, sit down for a movie, and let's get ready to go. So
gotcha. All right, so everybody check it out if you're in the mood for a dad packing simulator.
That's right.
And if you want to, if you miss soothing your child, you can soothe your PS5 controller to sleep.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if it has the microphone, so I can hear you going like, shh, shh, shh.
Oh yeah. Everything. It's all there.
That'd be the worst, man. Anyway, so no transition for this one. The story I wanted to bring up was it was an interesting purchase that happened in my house, but before we got there, I'm still trying to find the right mix of speaking about finances with my kid. I remember we were driving and I was trying to explain credit cards.
Yeah.
Because he said, oh, you could just put it on your card. I'm like, no, it's like, this is going to be a teachable moment because this is really important.
Right.
You cannot just put it on a card. And I think I walked him through. It's like, okay, so let's pretend I buy a system and it's $100. He's like, yeah, if I don't pay the $100, they charge me $10.
They send
like,
people after Daddy.
Yeah. It ruins everything. And I walked him through. So it's like, you can see if you're not careful, like $100 can cost you $180. He's like, wow. I'm like, I hope that's settled in deep somewhere within you so that like you have a good understanding of finance. I'm like, look, don't be scared of debt, but like, no. So we're going through the motions of how you approach finance, and I'm trying to do my best. And he came out and asked, my oldest came out and asked how much I made. How much do you make?
Okay. Yep.
And I was like, okay. It's like, no, I'll just tell him all about it. So I was like, well, I make this much hourly, which means every month I make about this much.
Yep.
And the little man, if he doesn't cock his head to the side and kind of like purses his lips a bit, he's like, not bad. Not bad.
He's doing like the Minecraft coin conversion rate. He's like, yeah, it's not too bad, Dad. I don't know.
That's about 15 cents or whatever. Like he did.
Yeah,
it's like
good.
It's a judgment. I'm like, excuse me.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
I'm glad you approve of what I make. It's just like, it was the funniest reaction of all the reactions he could have come. I thought would have been, because in kids are collecting dollars at the time. So for them to hear an adult salary,
yeah,
you almost would have, it's like, wow, that's amazing, or something like that.
Lot,
It says like, not bad, not bad. Just like, it's like,
you could do a little better, but like, I'm not going to say anything. But
that's a start. That's a start. Like, thank you, son. Yeah. But one of the things that came, bring that up as a segue to the second part of the story, where they were making a bad financial decision.
Okay.
Where they had collectively come up with about $30 to $40. So, $2 here for this task, like $1 here, just slowly but surely piggy banking. And both of them together, pooled together, they had 30 to 40. Okay. And at one point or another, we'd gone to a GameStop and there was this Lego Ender Dragon figurine. And it's like, let's buy that. And it's like, son, I've been here with you before. I know how this goes. You will buy it. You're going to spend all of your money that you've saved for months.
Right.
And you're going to put it together and it's going to go into a box. Yeah. It is such a way. I wasn't telling, it's his money. He can do as he wishes. Right. So I don't want to be too heavy handed. It's not like I'm going to tell him no. Like,
no. But guide.
I'm trying to, it's like, think through what's the best value for money. What are you going to play a whole lot? Mm-hmm. And he's like, and then I remembered that they've been asking me a whole lot about the DLC for Minecraft.
Oh, okay.
Right? So Minecraft Dungeons specifically.
Yeah, yep.
because they kept asking, like, because they beat everything. They beat the entire world, and they go to these other places. There's these awesome looking worlds, but it's like it costs real money. And I explained that to them. It's like, you can't just have that. Like, that costs money. I'd have to buy it. So, you know, maybe a birthday or something else like that. So we have that conversation. Like, all right, you could buy this like figurine that you are not going to play with, much like your other ones, or like you can give the money to me and I will buy the DLC for you. And they just like their eyes light up like dinner plates, like just like, oh, that's a thing. Like we can transfer money. We could transfer money like this.
Yes, but Daddy takes 20%.
Yeah, I was gonna. The juice is flowing, son. Because at very least I'd finally, after my terrible embarrassment of not locking down my system, so they had just used my credit card 4 or 5 times. The system is completely locked down now, so they've tried a few times to purchase it, and they made the better decision. So all of a sudden they got all of this DLC for, I think they ended up buying 3 of them.
Okay.
So they still didn't even spend all of their money, which is, again, like, look, you saved some of your money. Cool. And they had all these games, and they'd just been playing it, like, up and down all together. So the couple things, like, hooray for some financial literacy, and hooray for the better decision, and hooray for the first DLC purchased by my kids.
Yeah, milestone there, right? You're gonna like print that receipt out, frame it up on the wall, be like, your first DLC, kids. Here you go.
Dad, I'm 40. Why are you telling this to me?
It's my wedding. Why are you going over the story again, Dad?
Have your kids ever come at you for DLC specifically?
So, okay. I knew you were going to throw this question, and I was going through my mind. There is a ridiculous purchase of, on the Switch, there's Pokken Tournament. So it's all the Pokemon games. That game never goes on sale. It's like $80. My kid bought it with some money at GameStop. Again, saved up all their money, got it. The DLC of that thing is like 2 extra characters. I think it's like Blastoise and somebody. Oh. And they're like, I really want this, right? I really want this DLC. The thing is like $22.99 for 2 characters on a game they like play sporadically, but it doesn't go on sale ever. Like this is one of those things that just doesn't budge, right? So, but they constantly pelt me. We're like, hey, the DLC, can we get it? I'm like, well, you have the money, because like that's a lot for those 2 characters. And then they hum and haw about, yeah, you're right, maybe not. And then a week or 2 goes by. So like this DLC, it's just constant.
It's just gnawing away at the back of their heads this whole time.
I really think that they have like this. They've gone together and united, both of them, and they're just trying to get me to buy it to make them stop. And that they don't need to use their money, right? It's like one of those things where like they're just trying to do it, but not me. So I don't know.
That's amazing. So they're going to annoy. The strategy is to annoy and pester, and just keep at you until finally, Jeff, you're just like, all right, whatever. Just like this is worth $20 to leave me alone. Like,
yeah, exactly, right? Like just go. But yeah, like that DLC immediately came to mind was this Pokken Tournament where these characters are there and they sit there in the menu, right? With like question mark, what could this be? And you're like, oh, come on. And then it's just visit eStore and buy it. I'm like,
it's wild with monetization in these games, especially with it being so prevalent. And so far they haven't really played anything that's crazy monetized. Like they haven't got into Roblox, they haven't gotten into Fortnite. I think this is probably the most monetized game. Well, actually, or Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare.
Oh, yeah.
Has a fair amount of it, but even still, you have to kind of go to the vendor. It's not just necessarily punching you in the face all the time.
Yeah.
So
same with Minecraft, right? Like they have their own little store set up, right? Like you can go in there and buy some skins and seeds, I guess, is what they call them. God, I'm old. I'm turning 40.
Jeez, you're 40. I don't know anything. So it's interesting to see. It's going to be a kind of interesting transition as they get into games that have more of the DLC, more of the battle passes. I'll say this: like Minecraft Dungeons did have a battle pass, and they notice it. They notice it because they're making progress, and there's the 2 tiers. The top tier being free, just like Fortnite. And the
Right.
bottom tier, it's like, well, you got to level 20, so here's your cape. Now, if you had the battle pass, you would get this golden llama. Too bad. So they did ask about this. Like, can we give you money, then you can buy this battle pass? And it's like, no, you would not have a battle pass. Not in this house. Not in this rules.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like when I guess you have to judge for your own self, but like, when's that time, right? Because that's that's a thing with games, right? It's just these battle passes that exist, and they get you more stuff, especially with friends, right? When they hook up with friends, you're like, I got the battle pass, play with me. Like, I don't have this cape. I don't want to play with you.
Nice job, poor kid.
Yeah, exactly. Go ask your dad for more money. I bet he doesn't make a lot.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Not bad. Not bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. I could see a transition to be. Have your kids already asked I'm trying to remember if you'd already told a story where your kids had asked for like Robux as opposed to, or Roblox currency, whatever it was, as opposed to real money or games, like physical things. Like they were asking for in-game currency. Did that happen?
They have asked for Robux. They also ask for Robux, like gift cards for their friends' birthdays and stuff, right? Like, because when you ask them, like, what do they like? What do you want to pick out? Oh, he likes Robux. I'm like, I'm not getting that for them because I don't know what the restrictions are. And that's not a thing. I'm sorry, but they have asked for Robux to try and, like, again, my 9-year-old is really into red pandas. Red pandas cost money in the game that they play, and they need Robux to buy it, right? Because everything else is turned off. There's no credit card links or anything like that. So they have asked for that.
Thank God. It's a different world. But, man, did I get anything? I don't think I ever got anything digital. It was always a disc. Like, I remember getting...
Oh, okay.
Got Final Fantasy X disc. That was awesome. It's one I'll always remember for some reason. Just that particular Christmas. But, yeah, I always think those games and then the physical version. But now it's going to be... We are quickly heading towards a world of nothing but digital. And not even new games sometimes. It's just going to be 3 Pokemon or an extra map in Minecraft.
Yep.
We're getting old, Jeff. Well, you're getting old.
I'm getting old. You're staying young.
I'm still under 40. I don't get any seniors discount like yourself, so what can I tell you? But we'll wrap it up. Jeff's got to go to bed, everybody.
That's
so we need
yeah.
We need to wrap up the show.
Process this.
So a big happy birthday to Jeff. Feel free to reach out on Twitter and wish him a happy 40. Shout out to friend of the show, Gamer Looks at 40. Do check out that podcast as well. But that will wrap it up here. Up for us for the week. Thank you everybody so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you like the show, you can find the podcast on all of the major podcasting networks. So you're looking at iTunes, Caster, Spotify. Oh goodness, I forgot all the other ones.
Whole bunch more. Again, I'm the one turning 40.
Yeah, just
I don't know whose memory.
Your age is contagious. Apple iTunes Podcast, Spotify, Google Play, anywhere we get your podcast, just search for New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to reach out to the show, we'd love to hear from you. You can find us at New Dad Gaming and newdadgaming.com. As we continue into this year, we're trying to capitalize on some momentum. We've got a whole bunch of new listeners. It's been so amazing to hear everybody, so do reach out to us. If you could do us a massive favor, Jeff and I would really appreciate it. Subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Leaving a rating on the show on any of the networks really boosts the signals and helps bring in more gaming dads as we try to get as many as possible for Jeff old age.
Before I pass on.
Before he passes on. As Death Stranding.
That's right, yeah.
Is Death Standing right behind him.
That's right.
It could come from at any moment. So we'd greatly appreciate that. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm 40, and I have a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old. And thanks everybody so much for listening. But just because you became a dad or 40
does not mean it's game over.
That's
you
right.
set me up to say the line
That's
to
right,
support
I did.
your old age. I'll be there soon enough. Whether you're gaming, whether you're 40, whether you have kids, it doesn't mean it's game over.
That's right.
That's a good sentiment.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll see you next week.
All right. See you later.